Hey guys, what's up? So today we're going to be looking at some past papers. All right, guys. And the reason why we're going to be looking at some past papers is because CXC is coming soon, right? Like right around the corner, Jed. So it's pretty much next month, and today is what, the 23rd of June. So yeah, let's get things done. If you haven't started studying yet, start. That's all I can say. That's the best advice I can give you. Start studying right now. You know? Okay, guys, so let's get started and let's start with number one here. It says the number 2747 written to three significant figures is. Okay, so for three significant figures, guys, what we have to do is look at the n plus 1th significant figure. So in this case, it's going to be the 3, in this case, 3 plus 1th significant figure, which is the fourth one. And if this is greater than or equal to 5, then we're going to round this one up. So we should actually get 2750, and the answer is B. Cool. So that one is really easy, guys. So just remember, it depends on how many significant figures you need. In this case, we only need 3, which is the 2, 7, and the 5. This 0 just acts as a placeholder. Okay, guys, so the answer for this one is B. All right, so let's move on to the next one. And the next one says, express the number 3754 expressed to the nearest 100. So the nearest 100, guys, is this one, right? We need this one. We need these two numbers to be the only significant figures, pretty much, right? So in this case, we're going to look at the third one here, and we're going to look at this 5, and is this 5 greater than or equal to 5? Yes, it's equal to 5. So we're going to end up with 38. We're going to add a 1 to this one, and we'll get 3800. So the answer for this one is 3800, which is what we need to the nearest 100. Cool. So the answer for that is C. Nice. Let's move on, guys. And the next one here says 0.045 times 10 to the negative 3 written in scientific notation is. So anytime you're writing something in scientific notation, guys, you have to have it as a times 10 to the negative n, to the negative or positive n, right? So in this case, we want it to be 4.5 because we need the a to be between 1 and 10, pretty much. We need the a to be between 1 and 10. And we have 4.5 multiplied by 10 to the negative 5. Okay, so why is it negative 5, guys? I'm going to move this placeholder 2 times to the right, and I'm going to get 4.5 times 10 to the negative 5. I'm going to subtract another 2 from this negative 3, and I'm going to get negative 5, right? Another easy way to do this, guys, is remember that 10 to the negative 3 is actually equal to 1 over 1000, right? So if we have 0.045, let's use our calculators. If we have 0.045 and we're going to divide it by 1000, we're going to end up with 0.000045. And if we write this in scientific notation or standard form, we're going to end up with 4.5 times 10 to the negative 5. So the only correct answer is B. All right, guys. Cool. So let's move on and let's look at number 4. All right, guys. So we're going to look at number 4 now, guys. And number 4 says 0.1 plus 0.01 multiplied by 0.1 minus 0.01. So we're going to actually end up with 0.11 multiplied by 0.09. And we should actually end up with 0.0099. That should be our answer, guys. And let's put it in the calculator and see if that's correct. And in our calculators, we're going to get 0.11 multiplied by 0.09. And that's the answer. The answer is D, guys. For the answer, we should get D, which is 0.099. Awesome. So let's move on. All right, and let's look at this question now. This question is actually kind of interesting to me. It says, what is the value of 5 plus 2 to the 3 over 5 squared minus 2 squared? So the top is actually going to end up being 7 cubed, and the bottom here, 5 squared, would give us 25 minus 2 squared, which is 4, and we're going to end up with 343, which is 7 cubed over 21. And since 21 is divisible by 7, all we have to do, guys, is divide this through by 7, and we should get 49. And divide this through by 7, and we should get 3. And we're going to end up with 49 over 3. So the answer is actually D. Cool? Pretty simple, pretty easy. And guys, remember, download this multiple choice set, and you can go through all of these papers, and I'm pretty sure you'll be ready for the exam. All right. So let's move on to the next question. Okay, so for this question here, it says, which of the following has an infinite set of members, right? So let's look at the first one, right? And the first one is factors of 20. Now, clearly the factors of 20 is not infinite, because it would start from 1, 2, then 4, all the way to 20. And it doesn't go over 20, so it's not infinite, right? Now, multiples of 20. Now, multiples of 20 must be infinite, because you can have 20 times 10, you can have 20 times 1 million, right? And you can have 20 times a trillion. You understand what I mean? So clearly this is the infinite set. Like, B is clearly the answer so far. And odd numbers between 0 and 20, that's also finite, so this one is out. And prime numbers less than 20 is also finite, so this one is out as well. So anytime you're finding multiples of most numbers, it's usually infinite, right? Especially if it's one number, in this case like 20, because 20 can be multiplied by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way to infinity. Cool. And that's an ugly infinity. That looks better. All right, guys. So let's look at this one now. Now, this question, guys, it's a little tricky. Cool. Number 7. It says a shaded area in the Venn diagram above represents. And so if I really wanted to get this area here, I would actually let's just draw these three here and have P, Q, and then this one would be R. And I would have it intersect another one. And I would really want it to intersect just Q only, because that's how I would want to end up with this shaded region here alone. So to get this shaded region in here, guys, all right, the first one I want P union Q, because P union Q would give me everything but that part of Q, right? And then if I have Q alone, it would represent everything in Q here, right? Now, if I find the intersection between this and this, I'm actually going to get just the shaded region here. So I would end up with this graph. So the answer is actually D, and it's very clear. And the reason why is because if I intersect this here, P union R, everything outside of P union R, right? Everything outside of P union R would just be pretty much here, right? And if I intersect that with Q here, I'm going to get the shaded region there. So D is clearly the answer. I need to have the P union R, everything outside P union R intersecting Q to get that answer, right? All right, guys, pretty difficult, but D is clearly the answer. All right, so let's look at number 8 now. So it says, how much simple interest is due on a loan of $1,200 for 2 years if the annual rate of interest is 5.5%? Now, remember the simple interest formula, guys, is equal to PRT, where P is the principal, R is the rate of interest, and T is the time. So in this case, all we need to find the simple interest is equal to 1200 multiplied by 5.5 over 100, which is a 5.5%, multiplied by 2, which is the time, and the simple interest is actually going to be equal to I think it's going to be 132. Let's use our calculators. All right, so I need to multiply 1200 by 5.5. Let's divide it by 100, and then I'm going to multiply it by 2, and yes, it's 132. So 132 is my answer, and the answer is actually B, guys. Awesome. All right. So let's move on, guys. Let's look at number 9 here. And number 9 says, how much interest would a fixed deposit of $10,000 earn in 2008 than in 2009? Now, clearly, this one is really, really simple. You don't even need the simple interest formula, but you can use it if you want to. Remember, SI is equal to PRT. In this case, the interest is 10,000. Sorry, not the interest. The principal is 10,000. The rate is 7.8%, so that's 0.078 multiplied by 1 year, because it's 1 year, just 2008, and you're actually gonna get 780, right? And for the next year, guys, you're gonna have 10,000 multiplied by 0.075 multiplied by 1, and you're gonna get 750. So the difference between these two guys would give us $30. So the answer is C. And that's really easy. This is just so easy to me. I don't think it could get any easier. All right. But practice these questions, guys, and you'll ace the exam. All right. Just remember the formula. And boom, let's move on to number 10 here. And number 10 here, it's an interesting question about taxes. And this is really how it happens in Jamaica, that is. So it says here, consumption tax and customs duty are calculated as follows. Consumption tax is 20% of value and customs duty is 50% of value, right? What is the total tax paid on an article which is valued at $150? So the tax, because this is 20% of the value and 50%, it would be 70% of the $150, right? And if we cancel these two zeros here, we're going to get 7 times 15, which would give us 105, and the answer is C, 105. Cool. All right, so let's move on. Let's look at number 11. Now, number 11 says, the water authority charges $10 per month for the meter rent. So let's just put that down. You have $10 to pay just for the meter rent. Then $25 for the first 100 liters. So let's put $25 here. And $1 for each additional 10 liters. Okay, so it's $1 per 10 liter, right? $1 per 10 liters. What if the total bill is for 250 liters used in 1 month? What is the total bill for 250 liters used in 1 month? All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to subtract the 100 liters from the 250. And I'm going to be left with 150 liters. And we'll have to account for that $25. And remember, we're charged $10 per month for the meter. Then this 150 we're going to divide by 10 and we're going to get $15. So we're going to get $15, right, added to the $10 added to the $25. And we're going to get 15 plus 25 should give us 40, plus 10 would give us 50, and D is the answer. All right, guys. All right, cool. So D is the answer, and let's move on to number 11 here. And number 11 here says 7 times, this is a the, guys, 7 times the product of two numbers, A and B, can be written as 7 times A times B. So it's 7AB. Okay, guys? So A is the answer. Cool. All right, so let's move on to the next one. The next one says 2x, 2 times x minus 1 minus 3x is equal to 6. Then what is x? Okay, so the first thing is we want to break down the brackets, and we're going to get 2x minus 2 minus 3x is equal to 6. Then we're going to get this, can subtract this, and we're going to get minus 2 minus x is equal to 6. Then we're going to put this x over to the right side, and we're going to carry this 6 over to the left side, and we're going to get negative 2 minus 6 is equal to positive x. Remember, the signs change when you carry them over to the other side, and you're going to get minus 8 is equal to x, and x is equal to minus 8. So the answer is actually A. Boom. Easy, guys. All right, so let's move on to number 14. All right, so number 14 says, chill out, phone. All right, so number 14 says 3m squared n cubed multiplied by 4mn squared. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is multiply the numbers. So we're going to get 3 times 4, which is 12. And m squared times m would give us m2 plus 1 and n3 plus 2. So we're going to end up with 12m cubed n to the 5. And that's the answer, guys. And the answer is actually B. So B is the answer. Okay, guys? Okay, so let's move on to number 15 here. I like this question. We have 3x plus 1 over 2 minus x plus 1 over 4. Okay, guys, so the first thing we want to do is we want to put everything over a common denominator, which in this case, which is 4. Now, we need to find the lowest common multiple between 2 and 4. And to find the LCM for 4 and 2, clearly 2 times 2 would give us 4. So 4 is the lowest common multiple between the two. Now for this side here, we actually have to divide 2 into 4, which would give us 2. And we're going to end up with 2 multiplied by the top. So 2 times 3x plus 1 minus x minus 1, right? In this case, minus x. Let's put plus 1, minus x plus 1. Then we're going to end up with 2 times 3x, which is 6x, and then 2 times 1, which is 2, 6x plus 2, minus x minus 1. This negative would make both the things in the bracket negative over 4. And then we're going to end up with this x minus this 6 gives us 5x. This 1 minus this gives us plus 1 over 4. So the answer is actually A, guys. Pretty simple. Just remember that you have to make sure they have the same, you have to find the lowest common denominator for the denominator. Divide 2 by 4 and you're going to get 2, and you multiply that 2 by the top here. And since 4 goes into 4 one time, this 1 times this here doesn't have to change. Then we're going to end up with A as the answer, 5x plus 1 over 4. All right, guys, so let's look at number 16. It says, how many liters of water would a container whose volume is 36 centimeters cubed hold? All right, so firstly, 1,000 centimeters cubed is equal to 1 liter. Therefore, 36 centimeters cubed would hold this divided by 1,000, which would actually give us, let's put this in our calculators, guys, and put it over here. We're going to get 36 divided by 1,000, and we're going to get A, which is 0.036. 0.036. All right, guys. Mad thing. So let's move on, and let's just go to number 17 here. All right, so first thing for number 17, guys, I'm just going to remind you guys of something. For a rectangular block, right, the area is equal to the length times the width times the height. Cool? So it says here the width of a block of wood with rectangular cross section X is right, the width of a block of wood with rectangular cross section x centimeters, its height is 2 over 3 its width, and its length is 4 times its height. So let's just write that out. The width is equal to x, the height is equal to 2 over 3 times its width, which is 2 over 3x, and its length is equal to 4 times its height, which is 2 over 3. So it's 4 times 2 over 3 x. So this 4 times 2 over 3 would actually give us 8 over 3x. So let's just remove this here and put 8 over 3x as the length. So to find the area now, guys, all I have to do is multiply 8 over 3x by 2 over 3x by x. And I'm going to end up with x cubed, and 8 times 2 would give me 16 over 3 times 3, which would give me 9. So the answer is C. All right, guys, not too bad. This question is one you have to think about, though. You understand me, guys? It's one you have to be like, let's look into it. You know, it's one of those think out questions. All right, so let's look at the next question, guys. Pretty simple. And it says here, ABCD is a trapezium and ADE is a triangle, right? And A angles B, C, and E are right angles. If the area of the trapezium ABCD is, now for the area of the trapezium, guys, right? Oops, I don't know how this got so big. The area of a trapezium, guys, it's always equal to, that's kind of big too. Let's use something smaller. So for the area of the trapezium, it's equal to a half times the two perpendicular sides, which in this case are those sides here, A plus B, which are the perpendicular sides, times H. Cool. So in this case, we have this side as 5 and that side as 3. So we're going to have a half of 3 plus 5. And H is clearly, in this case, 2, because this is the height here, right? So 2 is the height, so it's multiplied by 2. So this 2 goes into this 2, and it leaves 8. So you're going to get 8 centimeters squared as the answer. So 8 centimeters squared is the area of this trapezium here. Cool. All right, so pretty much good here. That's the area, 8 centimeters squared. And let's move on to number 19. All right, so number 19 here says a circular hole with diameter 6 centimeters is cut out of a circular piece of card with a diameter of 12 centimeters. All right, so let's kind of draw that. Let's kind of see what they're saying there. So they're saying a circular hole with diameter 6 centimeters. So let's put that here. And they said it's cut out of a circular piece of card with a diameter of 12 centimeters. So there's a bigger hole here. That's 12 centimeters. Cool. And it says the area of the remaining card in centimeters is. Now clearly for the big card, firstly to find the area of a circle, right? It would be the area of the circle is equal to pi r squared. Cool. Now if the first one is 6 diameters, then the area for the first one is pi 6 divided by 2, which is 3 squared, right? So the area for in here is 9 pi, and the area for the entire circle, the big circle, A2, let's call this A2 and A1. The area for the big circle is actually pi r squared, which is pi r squared in this case is 2 divided by the 12, which is pi 6 squared, which is equal to 36 pi. So to find the remaining card, because remember we'll cut out here, the remaining card would be 36 pi minus 9 pi, and we would end up with 27 pi, and that would be our answer. Our answer would be B. Okay, guys? Nice. Alrighty then. So let's move on to 20, right? Number 20. And number 20 here says the mean of 10 numbers is 58, all right? So if the mean of 10 numbers is 58, then 10 times 58 would give us a total of all the numbers, which is 580. 580. Now it says if one of the numbers is 40, what is the mean of the other 9? So clearly the mean of the other 9 would be the 580 minus 40, which would give us 540. And 540, you divide this by 9, and you would end up with 60. So the answer is actually B. And remember, guys, the mean is simply the total amount divided by the total number, which in this case is 10, which is why we get the 58. Cool. All right. So pretty simple, guys. The answer for that was B. And if you're having any problems with this, just go look at the mean videos on the YouTube channel. All right, so let's look at the next one here. Let me go slower for this one. Let me not go too fast. And it says, refer to the table below which shows the distribution of ages of 25 children in a choir. I used to be in a choir when I was little, when I was like 10 and 11. I used to sing in the choir. I used to really enjoy it actually. And it says, what is the probability that a child chosen at random is at least 13 years old? Okay, so they said at least 13 years old. So that means you want them to be 13, 14, 15, or 16. So the first thing we're going to do is add up these. And 5 plus 4 would be 9. 9 plus 4 would give us 13, and then 13 plus 3 would give us 16. Then we're going to add up all of these. So we're going to add 16 to 3, which would give us 19, and 19 plus 6 would give us 25, and would end up with 16 divided by the total, which is 25. And it's 16 children that are older than that are 13 and older, and we want that to be over 25, and that would give us our probability for choosing at least a child that's at least 13 years old. Okay, guys? So that's the probability. The probability of the child at least 13 years old is equal to 16 over 25. Cool? All right. Okay, so let's move on, guys. And it says, what is the mode of this distribution? For this question here, let's go back to it. Yes, what is the mode of this distribution? Now, guys, remember the mode is the one that occurs the most. So clearly, if 6 children are 11, then the mode is not 6, guys. The mode is 11. Okay? The mode is actually 11 because 11 occurs 6 times. So out of all the children, you have 11, 11, 11, 11, 11, and 11. So that's the mode. All right, guys, the mode is not 6, the mode is 11. All right, so just making sure you know. So the answer is C. All right, so let's move on now, guys. Let's move on to 23. All right, and for 23 now, it says the equation of a line which passes through the point 0, 2 and has a gradient of 1 over 3 is... So clearly the answer to me, it's kind of obvious. Remember, y is equal to mx plus c. This is the most important formula when it comes to a line, guys. Now, if the gradient is 1 over 3, m is equal to the gradient. So these two are out because clearly the gradient has to be 1 over 3. Now, in this case, when x is equal to 0, so when this is equal to 0, y is equal to 2. So because when x is equal to 0, y is equal to 2, this D is clearly the answer because in this case, y is equal to 0 and x is equal to 0. So this is out as well. So clearly D is the answer. All right, guys. All right. So for this one now, guys, for 24, 24 says if g is a function such that g of x is equal to 2x plus 1, which of the following pairs satisfies the function? All right, so let's look at the first one. What basically g of x is equal to y is equal to 2x plus 1. So the first one we're going to do here is we're going to put this minus 3 into this, and I'm going to get y is equal to 2 times minus 3 plus 1, and we're going to get negative 6 plus 1, which is equal to y being minus 5. And that's exactly what we end up with, so we know A is correct. We don't even have to move on to B, C, and D because we already know A is correct. All right, and that's the type of confidence you need in this exam, guys. You just need to blow it away. I'm joking still, but yeah, for real, that's the kind of confidence you really need, though. I'm just being real, you know. But A is the answer, and we already tested it. So you really just have to test the values to check if they're correct. You understand what I mean, guys? All right, so let's move on to 25 here. Now 25 says what is the gradient of a line which passes through the points minus 4, 3, and negative 2 and 5. So guys, remember y is equal to mx plus c is the most important equation. And the answer is actually B, guys. And the reason why it's B is because I'm going to actually substitute that as a gradient, negative 1 over 3, x plus c. Let's write a better 3 than that. That 3 doesn't look too good. All right, so the first thing I want to do is I want to find the y-intercept. So I'm going to put in this minus 4 and this 3. So y is going to be equal to 3, and x is going to be equal to minus 4. So I'm going to get I'm going to get negative 4 over 3 plus c. And then this negative 4 over 3 can go over to the right side, and I'm going to end up with c is equal to 3 plus 4 over 3. So I'm going to end up with c being 4 and 1 over 3. Cool. So this is my y-intercept. Cool. That's basically what my y-intercept is. That's what c is. Yeah, when x is equal to 0, it's my y-intercept, right? So since I have the 4 and 1 over 3 as my y-intercept and the negative 1 over 3 as my gradient, I'm going to end up with y is equal to negative 1 over 3 x plus 4 and 1 over 3. And then I'm going to test this one in there, right? So let's put minus 2 as the x, and I'm going to end up with y is equal to negative 2 times 1 over 3, which is going to end up just being positive 2 over 3 plus 4 and 1 over 3. And I'm going to end up with y being equal to 5. So since this holds, meaning negative 2 gives us the 5, right? Then that means that B is definitely the answer. All right, guys? And if any of you guys find a simpler way to do this one, message and tell me what's up, because this one kind of was a little difficult in my opinion. I still got the answer, but to a regular person, it may have been a little difficult. So we can kind of discuss this one in the future. All right, guys. Maybe I do a video with just hard questions. All right, so let's look at the next one here. And the next question here, guys, it says the sides of the interior angles of a polygon are x, 2x, 60 degrees, 30 degrees, 3x degrees, and 36 degrees. So what is the value of x? So we can see that there are 5 angles. So that means that the polygon has 5 sides. So in a 5-sided polygon, guys, it's 540 degrees. That's the total. And this would be equal to x plus 2x plus 3x plus 60 degrees plus 36 degrees, right? So we're going to end up with 540 degrees minus 60 degrees minus 36 degrees is equal to x plus 2x plus 3x in degrees, right? So let's put that in our calculators, guys, and see what we get. All right, let's just put this over here, and we're going to get 540 minus 60 minus 36. So we're going to end up with 444, and we'll get 444 is equal to 6x degrees. So x degrees is going to be equal to 444 divided by, let's just click back this calculator, divided by 6, and we're going to get 74 degrees for x. Okay, so the answer is actually D, guys. All right. So this one is pretty simple. If you just know that a five-sided polygon has 540 degrees as a total, it's easy. But if you don't, man, this is hard. All right. So just remember, guys, if something is a pentagon, right? It has five sides, then the total is 540 degrees, right? For the polygon. All right. Okay, so let's move on to 27. All right, guys. So now we're going to be looking at 27, and it says here a plane travels from point A on a bearing of 150 degrees to point B, 10 kilometers from point A, right? So we can see here that this line here is the length of 10 kilometers, right? Okay, great. So it says here how far east of A is B, right? How far east of A is B? Cool. So we just pretty much need to know the distance here. How far east of A is B? Cool. So to find this distance here now, pretty much guys, what we need is this angle would be 30 degrees, this angle would be 60 degrees, right? And we pretty much need the side that is um, opposite to the angle. So we need the side here, and this side would actually give us um, sine 60 degrees is equal to the opposite side over the hypotenuse. And in this case, the hypotenuse is actually equal to 10. So we're going to get 10 sine 60 degrees is equal to the opposite side. And that's how we get the answer. So the answer is actually C. All right, guys. So the opposite side is equal to 10 sine 60 degrees. Cool. All right, cool. So let's move on and let's do number 28 here. All right, so for number 28 now, guys, it's pretty simple in my opinion. They said the triangle ABC is an enlargement of the triangle ADE. So this is ADE, the smaller triangle, and it's in the ratio 1 to 2. Cool. So that means this is 1 and this will be 2. Cool. So, um, right. Cool. So this should be in the ratio 1. This is 1 to 2, and all of it would end up being 3, right? That's the ratio. Now, if the area of ABC, which is the entire triangle, is 336 degrees, A, B to C, right? 36 centimeters cubed, sorry, not degrees. Then the area of DECB in centimeters is, and let's just really think about this. So first thing I want to do, 36 degrees, if I want to break it up in terms of if we want to break this up in terms of 1 to 2, if the entire angle is 36 degrees, then 36 centimeters, sorry, then we would want it to be a 1 to 2 relationship from here to here, right? So everything is 36. So if everything is 36 and we have a ratio of 1 to 2, then we would really like to have all right, guys. So since we have 36 centimeters squared and it's pretty much 1 would be, if this is 18, it's going to be twice it. So 2 times 18 would actually give us a 36. So clearly we want the 36 centimeters cubed or centimeters squared, sorry. So clearly we want A to be the answer, because if this is 18, then 2 would be 36, and that's exactly what we want. Um, yeah, and that makes perfect sense. That makes perfect sense, guys. You understand what I'm saying here? Cool. So it would be a 18 to 18 relationship because it would be 1 to 2. And let's carry this down here. Let's do the last two. Okay, so for the last two here, All right, so for the last two here, we'll have a point which is at 2 to -3. So let's draw the setup here, and we have 0, and the point is at 2, so +2 on the x-axis, and a -3 on the y-axis. Now it says here in an anti-clockwise direction, we actually move this in an anti-clockwise direction. So what would we get? So if we move this point here in an anti-clockwise direction, remember clockwise is this way and anti-clockwise is the other way around. So if we move this point up here, we would actually get 2 to 3, right? We'd actually get this point moved from here and we'd want it anti-clockwise. So we'd actually end up with this being 3 here and this point being 2 here, and we'd end up with 3, 2. X would be 3 and Y would be 2. Clearly both of them have to be positive. They have to be in the first quadrant for sure. And you'd end up with X being 3 and you'd end up with X being 3 and Y being 2. So I would actually get this answer here for changing the quadrant at a 90-degree anti-clockwise direction. So A would clearly be the answer. It's kind of obvious to me. These two are out. So clearly it either gonna be B or it's gonna be A. B to me is a close answer, but A is definitely the answer to me. Because it wouldn't be the same in terms of the setting, meaning 2 and 3. So because it's basically switched around in the other direction, and both of them have to be positive this time, you're going to end up with 3, 2. Cool? All right. So for the last one here, I think this one is just really easy. This refers to the triangle PQR, in which you have this triangle here. Now, for this case, we have 12, we have 5, and we have a long hypotenuse here. So clearly the hypotenuse squared is equal to 5 squared plus 12 squared. And if we're going to find h, we're going to find the square root of 25 plus 144. And we're going to end up with 5 squared is 25 and 12 squared is 144. And we're going to end up with 144 plus 25, and we're going to find the square root. Let's put that to 0.5, and the answer is going to be 13. Okay, guys? So C is the answer, and the answer is 13. All right, guys. So we're pretty much done with the first 30 questions in this set. There are many other practice questions in this paper here, in this past paper multiple choice bank. So we have a lot of questions to do, and I'm gonna see you in the next video. And remember to download these guys and try to sit and go through them yourself, and then you can look at my solutions if you want to. And good luck preparing for the exams, and remember to do your best and God will do the rest. Have a wonderful day, guys.